Hello, and welcome to Dad and Sons. Oh boy, do we have a show for you. We have Cyberpunk 2077.
The greatest game in a generation.
Yes, and the Game Awards, which I did not watch.
Off to a fine start.
I dabbled. I had a Discord group going.
I feel like we're 2 for 3, right? Me and Matt played Cyberpunk. Me and George watched the Game Awards. I'm the glue. You two guys are the extensions on top of that.
I saw Sephiroth.
That's all that was needed.
I mean, that's it? That's the only thing was.
I don't want to say that it wasn't worth watching it, but it was interesting to see how it's definitely grown over the years. Anyways, we'll get into it later on.
Just like real video games.
The COVID restrictions were quite the blessing and the curse at the same time. Anyways, we'll get into it.
Oh man. Should we just dive into it?
I mean, there's not really much else to talk about, is there, to be honest?
I do have questions. As an outsider, I feel like I could help lead us through this quagmire.
Let's have some initial thoughts straight off the bat first.
Okay, let's.
Right.
What did I say this looked like, Liam? 3 episodes ago in those trailers.
Oh, I can't remember. GTA.
No, I said
that's what it looks like to me. Oh.
I said it looked like shit, right? And Liam was like, no, don't worry. I know a couple devs, it's going to be great. You're going to enjoy.
Don't bring me into this. God fucking damn it. Don't bring me down into this nonsense.
And then, oh my God. And then,
so you were so hyped for this.
I was hyped for this experience because I knew I
warned you.
It looked like shit. It looked like shit. I knew it did. And I was like, I'm going to get my enjoyment out of it regardless. And I did.
I feel like maybe that's what we should eventually get to at some point is whether or not you enjoyed it. Because right now we're just kind of laughing at the thought of it being shit. Which isn't I mean, we're only 30 seconds in. Let's freaking piece it down a little bit. Come on.
Oh no, we're gonna anger the devs, the Liam devs.
I mean, ultimately, anything we say will not be any worse than anything that's already happening on the internet.
I'm gonna give it some constructive criticism. I'm not gonna say it's shit, and then
it needs constructive criticism.
I mean, okay. All right, George. Just before you go down the hole of bugs, what's wrong with this game is not the bugs. This game is. I beat the game. Yes. Before you ask, Leo.
Jesus Christ! It's 3 days, dude. Come on, man.
I beat the game
for real, dog.
Wow. Holy shit!
I beat the game. So I from beginning to end, it's a bit sharper in the beginning, and then it starts to go down this shithole.
No fucking way, because it is rough in the beginning too.
It is rough in the beginning too, and it only gets worse.
Okay.
Okay. So, but I'll let you guys go, Liam, and
I'm interested to hear in terms of how it gets worse, in what aspects it gets worse. I definitely have strong feelings about particular points about the game. I mean, let's throw out there for anybody who somehow lives in a game and doesn't know, the game is a technical mess. I've been playing on the next gen consoles on Series X, and Matt's been playing it on PC. So we've had literally the best versions of the game, and it's still a technical mess. There are bugs everywhere. This is not Baldur's Gate 3 early access bugs. This is stuff that really can ruin your experience. You're playing a video game.
Completely break immersion.
And that's not great, especially considering this game's been in development for obviously 8 years, and we'll get to the whole news segments about it and what is going on in terms of their apology that they just announced today as we're recording it. I'm interested because like, I don't know how to approach it because I have very strong opinions about different aspects of the game. But the game in general, if I was to bottom line it, I'm still enjoying it. Like, I'm still having fun.
Gameplay wise, like shooting.
No, so this is the thing. I keep playing it and I enjoy the talking to people a lot more. I enjoy the RPG aspects of it. And like I'm almost Stockholm syndromed into thinking I'm enjoying it a little bit.
See, I feel like that's the worst part of the game.
Mm.
I feel like the writing is completely boring. Like, let's just start with the presentation quality control is complete garbage. And like, I'm coming... I know, Yakuza, right? I'm coming from Yakuza, and Yakuza, it has a ridiculous story and all that, but you can see the differences when someone's in the booth telling the voice actors, like, this is how you should say it. This is how it connects with the character that's speaking to the player. Like, it's not there. It's not there. It's not something like, even in Fallout 4, which is basically what this game is, the characters connect with you a lot more. It feels like they're speaking at you more and more with this explaining what's going on.
So I do like that, and that's probably why I like talking to people a lot. The one thing I do like that is quite unique is when you walk up to a character, the dialogue options appear. It's not like you're brought into a cutscene and you don't press a button to talk to people. You press a button to talk to NPCs, but that is not worth your while because it's all random and it's all garbage and the UI is tiny and it sucks. Yeah. It's absolutely terrible. But when you talk to characters who have stuff to say to you, it organically appears in front of you and you're never put into a cutscene and you can literally walk away from them and they'll stop talking to you. That's quite unique. And I do like the way it presents.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that. That's like the redeeming quality of talking to people. Because everyone else is just like walking playing see the
Everybody might as well not be there. Yeah. Every other single NPC in that game.
Big crowds on PC, right? just a waste of space. That's what I wanted to say. I just wanted to say it's too early in the chat. I was just like, yeah, I have a lot of people, but I mean,
what is the point in
there's no reason. They're just in the way when you're driving. That's literally where they are.
Oh God,
they're just in the way.
So I have a couple of notes. So I wrote down notes because there was a lot of things I was thinking about it, and I'd like to talk to you about the individual notes because even though they're minuscule, they add up because you do it's in the game a lot. First off,
are you gonna go away from voice acting and the writing?
So like the writing, I don't even know how to judge yet because it's all spoken voice, and I feel like that means I don't read it as much, which means I don't digest it as often as I would. Like everything is voice acted in this game. I think I played male V. You played
not everything. Those fucking text messages.
Oh yeah, that
fucking obnoxious phone calls and text messages. Every time you go to a new area, hello, I have some gigs for you. Hello, I have some gigs for you.
And here's a car you can buy. And here's this. And this.
Yeah.
This is the second time this week I've heard it compared to Fallout 4. The other time it was mentioned to me, someone said that there's basically a version of Preston Garvey that calls you on your own cell phone about a settlement.
No, it's not. It's Roman GTA 4 Let's Go Bowling bullshit, cousin.
What I mean by Fallout 4 is that the normies are gonna like this, right? Like, or whatever.
Find redemption
with it, right? It's pretty bad, right? But the thing is, like, Fallout 4 like missed the point, and I feel like 2077 missed the point. There's nothing cyberpunk about Cyberpunk 2077. Like you don't. You still drive around with old ass stupid cars. Right? The only thing you can do is mod yourself, and you find some like synths that they don't really like address. They don't go deep. They don't dive deep into it. Nothing. All like, you know how if GTA had Cyberpunk, oh my God, they would have like self-driving buses that you would have to jump on and take over and like slow down and save the children. Like if Rockstar had it would be a completely different thing.
So the cars aren't aren't cyberpunk enough.
No, everything is not cyberpunk enough. Like a lot of these missions could have been copy and pasted by Rockstar's mission trash bin.
But
just
everyone has punky haircut and they have cybernetic implants.
They look awful. If I'm honest. I don't like looking at characters in this game, to be honest.
And the thing is, though, that's like the random characters. I would say the other characters look great. Like the characters that are in your face.
I mean, that's hit and miss. I think you're on that Xbox.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll record some stuff on my side. Yeah, I'll record some stuff on my side to show.
But I think that goes to show just what the difference in quality is. Like PC to next gen consoles. I know this is not the next gen versions, but it's running them. And then the bottom ones under that are obviously unspeakably bad. That the fact that we have the fiasco with the apology and refunds and everything that people I'm sure are aware of at the moment. But before we draw conclusions exactly about the bottom line, I think there are things there's things I definitely specifically want to talk about. One is, you're absolutely right. Like, the mission structure and everything is a mess. I don't think it's very good. It is very Witcher 3 mixed with Fallout 4. People call you. It never makes any sense because they call you and then they send you a text message afterwards. That means you have to open the dialogue. And then sometimes the D-pad doesn't even open the dialogue correctly. And some of those messages need you to respond to. And then some of them don't need you to respond to. And then sometimes it doesn't even prompt you. And then some messages you just never see. And it's always in the same structure. You go to a new area, guy calls you, here's a job, here's a car to buy. And it's always that 3 sequence, like every new area you go to, or when you return to an area. It's very strange. There's just a couple of things I want to get out of my head. One, the driving in this game is absolutely the worst driving in an open world game I've ever played. I hate it so much. I hate driving, and it's so frustrating because whilst I agree with that, they do look like kind of 80s cut. Like, imagine a DeLorean and people thinking the DeLorean is what would be the future, right?
There's regular cars. There's like Porsches and motorcycles that are all...
They all have like an extra wheel or something, right?
They drive to you. That's it. That's the difference. There's nothing cyberpunk about those things.
But driving them feels horrid. Like, horrid. Driving motorbikes in this game is the worst experience I've had riding around.
Good.
My God, they're so bad. Like, I literally want to vomit at the idea.
That's the only thing I drive is the bikes. Because
the cars suck. Did you use a keyboard or did you use a controller?
Keyboard.
Oh, with the controller they're absolutely the worst thing. And I would imagine they'd be worse with their keyboard, but to be honest, I had such a terrible time.
So explain it. Like, as soon as you like turn a little bit, it just kind of swerves.
It just swerves, and the brakes don't work correctly.
How much of the experience is the driving versus?
It's an open world city, just like around. GTA. You'd be driving everywhere. It is big.
Well, maybe you can fast travel to skip it, and
you can fast travel, but you have to go to these little like dustbins that fast travel you. Okay. Like in The Witcher, you had to go to posts. You can't just fast travel out of the map.
Yeah.
So you tend not to, or I haven't anyway. So you drive places. The second is, I think the shooting is also really weak, considering it's first person. So you're first person shooting a lot. The first person shooting is a bit weak, especially on controller. I imagine it is a bit better on keyboard and mouse. Secondly, the melee combat. If you played Skyrim, you've played the melee combat in this game. It's exactly the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It is exactly the same. Thirdly, the hacking, which is meant to be a huge part of this game. I don't even understand it. I don't know what it does. It doesn't really do anything. It's so boring.
The code thing.
The code thing, what is that? Am I using that to recharge all of the RAM slots I need to do? It's so bad. It's so bad.
The tutorials, that's the problem, a big problem. And no one tells you anything about a lot of things in this game. You just kind of learn it.
And it feels like that is the way the game was made. Like, some people just never brought it up in development. Like, I'm not criticizing them. Games are hard to make, but it feels like with the UI, if you have glasses like we do, how do you see anything? I have no idea. Like, it's so bad. Like, I have a 55-inch 4K TV, and the little RB button in the corner that shows you the grenades, the RB is all blurry because it's so small. Even the RB is blurred because it can't fit the icon of the bumper for the controller in the corner. And the hacking, I don't know, like, I guess if you went down a path to engage with the hacking, but the enemies are so far away that when you, you scan them and then it comes up your options, by the time you've, like, burst their optics or done something, they've already recovered and start shooting you immediately.
Yeah.
It feels so pointless and it's so poorly explained. It's so disappointing because that is the only thing that is, as Matt says, cyberpunky about it, really, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, you could do that shit in Watch Dogs.
Yeah, and it's funny because you can scan everything, but then things that you think you could hack, like traffic lights and stuff like that,
nothing.
Can't do anything.
Can't do anything.
You can't do anything.
What's the fucking point? Like, what is the fucking point?
You're augmenting your character like Deus Ex, and you can't even change your haircut. Once you have done the character creator,
you can't even do a sex change.
You can never.
What is that?
You can never change your character again. You can't change your character again.
This game, there's nothing cyberpunk about it. It feels amateur. It feels like they didn't make the Witcher series. Like, what happened?
It does feel a little like that. It does feel like this game has just been in development hell for a while. It needed, and I need
another year.
Let me just,
two.
yeah. I think that's the case, and I think eventually,
not another month is not going to switch this.
I think eventually with patches they'll get there, and this game will be an experience like not on par with The Witcher. I don't think they're ever going to reach the heights of that with this game because there's too many fundamentally not broken, but just half-baked ideas that they're not going to reach the heights of that. And this is to say, we're going on about this game, and it's not the worst game in the world. It's not like a really bad game. It's just that, this is that game that was expected to be a once-in-a-generation style game, and then it comes out.
Yeah.
And so many games that have come in this generation that, like Watch Dogs or like open world city games or driving games, things that this game could have taken ideas from, blatantly ignores, does its own thing, and they're all worse. The shooting's worse than first-person shooters. The driving is worse than driving games. The hacking is worse than Watch Dogs. The RPG dialogue, definitely worse than Baldur's Gate, in my opinion. And the choices,
everything's worse.
So everything's like half baked. And I think what's his name from Giant Bomb, Mr. Jeff. He said Gertzman. Yeah, he said it's just undercooked. Like it needed more time. It really, really, really did.
Whatever direction they were going into, man, I don't know where they were going. Like, I wonder if. Like some things is like, oh, is it a bug? I don't know. Like, or is this intentional? Like the empty space between dialogue sometime.
Or the overlapping dialogue sometimes.
Oh, the overlapping. The constantly getting in the car and being able to skip the ride, but they don't talk at all. You know how in GTA they talk, everyone's talking. When you move from one area to the next, like, oh, follow me. And it says, oh, follow Misty. And you follow her and it's just silent the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what are you guys doing? Like, it has those Mass Andromeda feels, those vibes where there's a progression in the relationship that's unknown to the player. Like, all of a sudden they're calling you V. And like they're super chummy with you and stuff, and it's like, wait, we just met. Like, what are you doing? That happens all the time. It's like, this is not. am I back to playing Yakuza? Is this Ichiban? Like it's like you met someone and they're already inviting you to their wedding. It's not immersive in the slightest.
One of the things that had me a little worried was the discovery upon getting into the Witcher books is just how much heavy lifting the expanded universe of The Witcher was doing when they put together this trilogy of beloved games over it. Because, like, the whole gimmick in the first game where Geralt has amnesia is a video game tutorial that's like simultaneously written alongside characters from the book who come back and reintroduce him to a world that's already established and a world that's like already beloved and soulful. And I was worried they were missing that soul, that influence from something
See, they're doing their own thing, like with the story and stuff like that. They're obviously taking from the world of Cyberpunk. And I think I agree with that. There's not really, I mean, it's all neon. It's basically just looking at Blade Runner, but it's very bright and neon. And this game has I'm going to throw it out there. The game's so immature. It's stupid. Like the adverts in this game are they're dumb. They're not even funny. Like some of them, they're like corny GTA style stuff. And it's boring, honestly.
Was this made by a bunch of dudes? Like, I don't understand. Like, the only thing.
But they did The Witcher.
The only thing that was decent quality was the sex scenes. Why is that?
And even that is like, I'm watching it and I'm like, lol. This is so like, dumb.
It's dumb, but like it has more like sense of soul than anything else, like the caressing of the face and stuff like that, and everything else is just like so, I don't know, soulless. It's the most, it's like they poured all that time into those scenes and that's it. It's like, oh, people are gonna want this.
I'm interested because as Matt, you finished it. I'm like maybe 15 hours in. I had to reinstall the game because I had a bug with it where it installed 2 copies of the game on my Xbox Series X. So I had 2 copies and I could simultaneously start both of them and play them independent of each other and quick resume between the 2 of them.
Oh my God.
One thing I will say in its favor, and I 100% mean this in all sincerity, Cyberpunk is easily the best quick resume game I've ever seen. It loads like that. Like, it loads instantaneously.
I can't believe
how
much you were on this.
I know. It's amazing. It's a 10 because like, I don't just press it and it works, which, some games don't. Dragon Quest calling you out. It loads and it immediately puts me in the game. No loading screens whatsoever. Like, it's actually pretty phenomenal. But I had 2 versions. I deleted the spare one that I hadn't loaded and was playing, and it deleted both from my Xbox. So then I had to be like, oh, fuck, have I just lost my 15-hour save? And then I spent a whole day yesterday re-downloading the 70 gigabytes of the console version. Thankfully, Xbox has cloud saves, so I didn't lose my save, and it just started right back at where it was supposed to be. So that was good, but I lost a load of ability to play it because of some stupid bug, which just is kind of the story of this game. But I do want to say, like, sorry, going back from that tangent was, I feel like the game tries really hard and almost nails a really good prologue. I think for anybody who is playing the game, I won't spoil it, but you get to know Jackie, who is a good character, I think. I really enjoyed my time with Jackie. And this whole prologue is about 5 to 6 hours long, depending on the way you play it, before you meet who is Keanu Reeves, right? And then you see the title card when it comes up and it says Cyberpunk. And basically that whole part of the game is a prologue and it introduces you to this character. It doesn't introduce you to the world whatsoever. You see a few characters, you hear about one of the corporations, but you don't even really know why. And then you can almost guess because of what the thing is you're trying to achieve, how you're going to meet Keanu Reeves. It's kind of very predictable, but it tries really hard to set up a nice prologue to get you invested. And I feel like they almost nail it. Like, I enjoyed Jackie, the character, and like all that beginning part and everything. And then it does sort of, after you meet Keanu, and it gets you on your main quest, it sort of does dive down a little bit. It lets you out into the open world of the game and the city. And I'm going to, like I've said some problems, but I don't know how you feel, Matt, but I think the city is rubbish.
Oh, there's nothing to do. I mean, it looks good.
It looks good.
It looks good on PC. Like, it looks good, but nothing.
I have no idea where I am at any time. It's such a mess, an amalgamation of buildings. It reminds me of like a really talented artist's Unity scene where they've just dropped a load of buildings in there without any thought, just drop them all around.
Yeah.
There's no thought. There's almost no thought process. It's so overlapping. There's buildings upon bypasses upon bypasses, and you can't see anything. Like, because there's just so much crap in front of you that I'm lost. It's like, you're in Haywood. Am I? I have no idea. Oh, you're in the Valentinos. it doesn't look different. There are some areas that are culturally, like you go to Kabuki Town or you go to the Valentinos, and then it has like a bit of like cultural
and that's
flair.
The other thing, like we're in 2077, are we still having gangs of whole Hispanics, whole Asians? Like, are we still doing that? Like, is this still a thing in video games in 27? Like, come on. Oh my God.
And that map is just not great. But I keep playing, and you finished it, obviously. I don't know why.
Does this thing have any pillars? We've just been shitting all over it
because there's nothing to do but shit on this game. There's not a lot, like there's a lot of stuff.
How's the music?
Okay, like let me give you an example.
There's what music?
Oh, there's a certain track that's like when shit's going down. That track is amazing. This is so good.
That one.
But I'm gonna give an example of how this game misses the point here. Like it's like, or maybe half baked. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't finish a lot of these quests. But you're doing these like AI cab missions, right? AI. Woo. Now we're getting to Cyberpunk.
Oh
right?
Yeah, that sounds like a blast.
That sounds like a blast. Like the AI taxis have become like self-aware.
Delamin.
And one of the cab missions, it's like scared of the city, so you have to slowly drive him out of the city to the AI core, right? And he's like super scared. He's like, oh, there's too many things, don't hit anything, and blah blah blah. And you get in the car, you drive the AI cab back to its main AI core slowly for about 7 minutes.
Oh,
no talking. There's this whole like cool conversation in the beginning, and then no talking for 7 minutes as you slowly drive. The only talking that happens is if you go too fast. He says, "Oh, too fast," and that's it. That's the game.
That's some Mafia 1 race shit.
That's the game in a nutshell. That's the game in a nutshell.
Huh.
And another thing that is also like probably my top worst things, other being amateur, like it's, you don't feel anything for the characters, and that's really weird for me to say because I usually doesn't bother me much, but this one, like there's some supposedly deep moments and I feel nothing at all.
This kills me. That was the magic of The Witcher. No one played The Witcher for the gameplay.
No.
You played it because you felt something for these lovable goofs and this miserable world that they put up with personalities that you remember by now. And I was so looking forward to...
I really want people to, if they played The Witcher 3, remember the Red Baron quest. Like, all of the different things you can happen and how you get to know that character over a specific amount of time and how you feel disgusted with him and then at times you feel sympathetic towards him and all that kind of stuff. Even the character models, the detail in them and everything, that doesn't really exist in Cyberpunk. Like, I would have to agree with Matt that you just move from place to place. Like, honestly, the NPCs could just not be there, and it would be the same game. Like, just have all the mission critical stuff, and you could have cardboard cutouts of the rest. And I don't think it would be that different. It does feel like, I think if you take away all the technical difficulties with it and all of the bugs, you would just have a kind of mediocre game.
Yes.
If I'm 100% honest.
Yes. That's it right there. That's it right there.
I can understand why people like this game. I can understand why people like it. There is a lot of depth, but the depth in every aspect is undercooked. I think when you're on a mission and you're doing a mission and there are ways you can approach them differently, and there's ways you can talk your way out of things, and there's ways the buildings have a lot of layers to them, so you can move in different alleyways and you can hack things. But when you really try to piece away those things individually, well, the stealth doesn't really work because the cover system doesn't work very well. Sometimes you'll automatically shoot over the cover, and then other times V will just like hover his trigger over the top of the cover and you can't shoot the heads of enemies. It's like, it's so funny. In one of the prologue missions, it gives you like a silencer to put on the end of a gun. And you're like, okay, great, I can stealth people. I immediately went behind a guy and shot him in the head with the silencer, thinking, I'll stealth kill him out. He's got loads of health. It's an RPG. He's got to shoot, he needs shooting multiple times. And I'm like, he's just alerted to my shot now. What the fuck is the point in giving me a silencer? No enemy in this game is going to die in one hit because it's not real. It's an RPG. The game says headshot when you hit them in the head.
You got to level up a little bit.
Yeah.
Get those sneaking abilities.
Oh my God.
That's all I was doing is going around headshotting people. Boom, boom, boom. It's so easy. It's so easy after you get that up.
That's kind of another thing I wanted to actually ask you, Matt, about how you felt about where you put your skill points. I have one major issue in the fact that this game has a lot of options, which is never a lot of
options. And they're good options, to be honest. That's probably... Yeah.
But it never really gives you any points, and you have to be very, very sparingly with your points.
Oh, like, that's what I thought when I reached the end of the game. I didn't think I was at the end of the game because... there still wasn't a lot of stuff unlocked in the Ripper Doctor. There still wasn't, I still didn't reach max level, not even close, and I did a lot of side missions. And I was just like, what's happening here? There's gotta be more after this. No. As soon as I started the quest, job failed. So I know that was the end of the row, and I was like, holy shit. You will never reach that unless you grind those police icons and whatever crap that they have in the open world that I could care fucking less about. I don't play open games like open world games.
And even them, it's so confusing about what is and isn't. Like, I tried to engage in one of those action things where, you take the bounties and you kill things. I shot a dude who had a bounty, and the police across the road saw me, and then they started shooting at me.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
like, what the fuck? I'm trying to help you dudes out. The job is literally called help a friend, and you're supposedly helping the police out, like take out these bounties. I can see why. Let's put aside the idea that journalists are paid off, blah blah blah, because it's old news.
Yep.
But I can see why people like it. I really can. But I feel like a 9 or a 10 for this game is really stretching. And I can understand what CD Projekt Red were trying to go for. They're really trying to push all they've learned from The Witcher open world and everything and put it into this thing that allows you to almost try to do everything. But by doing that, it means that everything is 50% of how good it could have been if you just focused on shortening things a bit. Like, if you focused on the hacking, you could have made the best hacking possible. If you focused on the shooting, you could have made really good shooting. You can give or take the driving because maybe that's not so mission critical. But when you try to do everything and you're cooking everything at the same time and you obviously don't have the staff numbers and you're crunching everybody and everybody's complaining, you got to delay it multiple times and you have all these bugs, it just feels like not worth it.
Ass.
And then you make a game like this that comes out and then ends up being... I mean, we'll get to the news later, but like, I'm not going to say laughing stock, but
I mean, it's George.
People are not going
to
remember this game.
George, no. I swear to God, if it wins Game Awards, I'm gonna throw everything at the wall, man.
Actually, it's kind of within that window where they tend to forget about it by the time the next year's awards roll around, because it feels like last year's
biggest redemption story awards,
possibly.
You have recent memories of playing Deus Ex, like just a few months ago. Is there any comparison at all? Like even in the feel? Because I mean, I do love first person FPS RPG with tables full of like interactable clutter that I've seen some screenshots at least evoke an immersive sim type sort of look and feel, but maybe not.
You can't interact with clutter. You can pick up a lot of loot though. Like, loot is everywhere and it's nonsense. It is fucking not. Yeah, I knew it was gonna trigger Liam. I knew it was gonna trigger Liam.
Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot about that. That is on. Oh my god, Matt, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I absolutely.
What is it?
I hate it so much. Matt is absolutely so right. There is loot everywhere, and it is so fucking dumb. Like, it's like Imagine if somebody threw a bag of rice around a room and dropped all the grains everywhere, and you were asked to pick up every single grain. That is what it's like.
That's what it's like.
And because the UI is so small, you can't fucking see it. Like, the UI is so tiny. When you read the little card that it shows what the thing is, you don't even know what it is. You just press it. You just ignore it. Yeah. And it has all of this world-building tablets, right? These little newspaper tablet things around the world. Yeah, and you press it, and it says, read the message. And then it's like a block of unparagraphed text. And you're like, nah, fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. I'm not doing this. Get out of here.
Yeah, like, why? And you know how bad it is, George? Let me give you a description. You pick up a bunch of shit. Don't you know how it shows you the item that you pick up on the bottom left? It just keeps going through it over and over again for like a couple minutes. It's just, oh, you picked up this. You picked up this. Item received this. Item received this. Go through a loading screen. Item received this. It just keeps going. That's how much you get. Because you just go around and kill everyone, and you just pick up all the guns, and then you dismantle them all, and then try to craft something, which crafting is kind of just...
Maybe... It's just a reminder, keep you up to date, you know?
But I don't know how to explain it. Like, maybe you guys can explain it better. But you know when you play a game and you start to recognize the items after a while, right? You know what's good, you know what's bad. And when you're going through your inventory, you know immediately what to look out for because the designers have been so smart to like either use the icons to highlight what is good, what is bad, and then you recognize good guns or bad guns very clearly, bold and designed. There's such a like... It's almost so hyper detailed in like the guns and everything that all the pistols look the same. And I have when I look at my inventory, I'm just looking at gun templates and I don't know what's good or what's bad. And God forbid I ever open my backpack and look at like PC processing parts and the game's trying to tell me what's a good augment and what's not. I'm like,
oh, which tier ass blaster do you want?
I feel...
Are you okay back there?
I feel bad for everybody involved. I feel bad for the people who worked on this game who had to ship it because obviously management has forced them to do so because they got 8 million pre-orders. I feel bad for, you know, those guys that worked on it. Nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to see this. And I feel bad for everybody who has been waiting for it. And like Matt, like somebody who really has been waiting for it and has avoided these things and has been excited to play it. And then the fiasco that's followed.
Oh, I can look at reviews now. Let's see what...
Let's get Matt's live reaction. Go to Metacritic.
Metacritic?
Not that that's a good indicator of anything, but...
Wait, what?
Whoa!
90? It has a 90 of PC?
Yeah, it reviewed okay with the PC pre-release version they sent out.
It reviewed well.
So they were not allowed to... They didn't review the console versions. They were not allowed to see. And also, interestingly enough, I mean... George wrote the whole news part about this, which, you know, folds into it, but...
I'll go ahead and just timestamp us in.
Reviewers were not allowed to use their own footage.
Yeah. It was all just trailers and B-roll and previously released...
That's scummy.
Like sometimes they'll have a snippet of some gameplay about what they're talking about. Like in this IGN video I skimmed through before watching. Like, it's so weird. The guy will be referencing something that he can't show, so there'll be like a snippet of an old demo that's the character kind of doing what's referred to in the language.
I'm reading some of these reviews from IGN Japan, PC Games N. Groundbreaking. Biggest achievement is Night City. Like, am I out of touch? Like, is this game great and I just don't recognize it?
Maybe the kids are wrong. The kids are wrong whenever I have that question.
It has a 69. And you just...
Oh, who gave it a 69? Tough crowd.
So this is the fundamentally broken thing with our whole culture and our whole industry and everything. GameSpot gave it 7. Fair criticism. Obviously now, understanding, we all can see why.
It's definitely a 6 or a 5.
And she got so much abuse Cali Plaguey got so much abuse because of that 7. And then the game comes out, and the Metacritic user score is 2.3. It's so it's draining. This kind of scenario is just draining. Guys, it's so draining.
Oh, I have some strong words for these gamers, man. Get a fucking life, man. Get a fucking life.
So let's see what GameSpot said on its list of cons. There's so much to do that isn't meaningful, it ends up feeling superfluous.
Yeah.
Superficial and edgy aesthetic choice with no real purpose.
Yep.
The incorporation of different cultures is inconsistent from good to inaccurate to downright offensive.
Oh my god. Like I said, in 2077, this shit should not exist. What? Like, oh my god. Oh my god.
What were the pros? Sorry, George.
There's plenty of flexibility in the RPG mechanics to build a character to suit your desired playstyle.
Correct.
I think so, yeah. That is fair.
Quick hacking combat is satisfying to execute and turns combat scenarios into elaborate puzzles. Oh, that sounds kind of like a joke.
I would disagree with that. Yeah. I think Matt was probably better. I think the shooting and the hacking is really weak. I don't say it's bad. Imagine if you play first-person shooters fairly often, right? You play Call of Duty Warzone, or you play Destiny, or you play Apex, or something like that, right? You're going to come to this, and you're going to think it's the same because it's first-person shooter. It does not feel like that.
You could just kill everyone. You don't need to hack anything. And I think that's... The game doesn't force you to actually use any of this stuff. You might as well just dump all your points into...
Also, the brain dance sequence. Oh, my God.
The third con is the Witcher stuff, or third pro, rather. Side quests and characters provide the most interesting and human moments in the game. This is the 7 out of 10 on GameSpot.
Exactly, and she got so much abuse, like thousands and thousands of rape and death threats.
I bet she hated it, just like we.
She really sticking her neck out.
She probably hated it and gave it a 7 out of the fact that she's afraid, and it still ended up like this.
And last but not least, Keanu Reeves' Johnny Silverhand adds dimension to nearly every quest, forcing you to rethink your decision-making instincts.
No, all he does is complain. And gets mad that you're not doing what he wants to do. Like, that's literally what his character is. It is the worst cut-in. Like, they get Keanu Reeves in, and they fuck it up. They fuck it up bad.
Wait. So is he like a mean guy? Like you're not chummy with him?
Well, I'm not gonna spoil anything. Like, but you know.
He's an asshole. He's a prick. It's basically just Keanu Reeves swearing at you for a while.
He doesn't add anything.
He's not a very nice character, let's say.
Yeah. I see what they were trying to go for, but they didn't execute it quite well at all. It's just kind of a whiff.
Well, speaking of trying to do something but then accidentally getting in a whole lot of trouble, did you guys manage to keep your private parts inside of your character's clothes?
Oh yeah, the circumcised dick. Yeah, I saw the dicks and I was very, very disappointed.
Don't they give you an option? Can you pick? Can you pick and choose if you want to?
Yes.
Yes. A full or a partial membership?
Whoa.
No, you can choose a small, a medium, or a large. Like ordering your fries is the size of your penis.
They all look the same.
It's almost like inflating a balloon. That's what the shape's like.
Yeah. It's just I was just like, okay, never mind. Never mind. Like, the thing is, I'm pretty sure a lot of people agree. No one likes to see a flaccid penis. And I don't know, the dicks were just not there. Dicks was just not there. I was expecting something a little bit more. If I saw this in a preview, I would probably be like,
it didn't do it for you, huh?
Oh man, I'm definitely not playing a guy. And I'm glad I didn't, to be honest, because I didn't like the guy's voice acting. Did you play? You played a guy, right, Liam?
So
I actually do like V's voice acting. I think it's pretty good, actually. I think out of all of the characters, I think V's probably the best one.
Did your boobs stay in? Did you have a boob clip?
No, they stayed in. But what happened is like,
oh, okay.
Sometimes there'll be a glitch and I'll be completely naked. I don't know why. I was like, why can't I put on clothes? I don't want to be out here naked.
Also, like,
Why?
Why can't you?
Why?
Why? I was so sad. Why can you not customize your character after you've done it? I thought you could. I thought in the trailers they showed that you could.
I thought you could too.
My V is so ugly because the character select model, like the character creator model, and the character in-game model, when you look in a mirror, are like two different models. And when I did my V, I was like, looks pretty decent. I'll change him later if I need be. And then I immediately looked in the mirror during the open sequence, and I was like, okay. Oh my God, what is that?
Okay, I want to say something as well. You know, I talked about like how like not forward thinking this game is for it to be 2077, but also they do this whole targeted marketing that you could be a guy with a vagina or a girl with a dick and all that, so you can mix and match and stuff, right?
Right.
But then they still have characters that literally only go for female or male. How does that work?
Well, like, doesn't it depend on what voice you choose or something?
I'm thinking so. They have characters that you cannot romance.
I guess they didn't want to record the extra voice work for it.
I'm probably the only one who cares about this shit, but like, I find that highly annoying. Like, I'm like, hey Panam, how you doing? How you doing, Panam? And then all of a sudden she's like, no, I think we should stay just friends. And I'm like, oh, something's wrong here. This is not Cyberpunk. This is not Cyberpunk.
For all the pain and misery and infamy that these nudity features and the hilarious glitches that they've caused have brought us, are they used fairly well in the game? Like that seemed like an envelope it could push.
You don't. Do you see your dick? You don't see your dick, Liam, right?
No, not when you have sex. No, not as far as I can see so far.
If you get penis customization, then why
even have it?
Yeah.
Why even have the dick option? Like, it doesn't even make any sense.
This is a conversation we had this question when they announced the dick menu. The very first question was, okay, then how important is our dick gonna be? If we can customize our dick, then does that mean that it shows up later?
It doesn't.
As far as I can tell, it doesn't. When I've had one sex scene with one of the Joy toys or whatever they're called.
Nintendo sent me one of those in the mail this week.
I mean, it's just funny. You just watch it and it's like 30 seconds and you're like, man, Mass Effect had better sex scenes than this. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and it's old now. Yeah.
Oh, Matt, also, what did you start? What path did you start?
Street Kid.
Yeah, me too. I guess we can't compare.
Everyone did Street Kid, man. Everyone I knew.
I think it was either Nomad or Street Kid because nobody wants to be a fucking corpo. Nobody wants to be a corpo. Nobody wants to be a fucking corpo.
Fuck corpo, man.
You're a fucking cop if you're a corpo.
Yeah. Fucking narc.
Wow.
I'm gonna carry on playing. There is something still enjoyable to me about the game. I feel like when you're on the main quests, as I said, I'm actually having fun. Like, I want to achieve the goals. It's when the game drops me back into the main world, into the city, and is like, hey V, here's a car, hey V, here's a car, hey, where you walking, hey V. And then Johnny Silverhand appears and he's like, yeah, Smo, we should be back on the main quest. And you're like, hey V. And it's all that garbage that then I'm just like, I don't want to do any of the side missions because they're all not great.
There are some that are decent, that are actually better than the main one, actually.
I do respect the fact that the game tells you how difficult the mission is. Like, it has like a danger rating. I actually do really like that, and I wish more games would do that. That's quite fun, because then you knock out all the moderate ones, see how you feel, and then you can do the high ones. I do like that. So there is like something, like, it's almost like watching a train wreck. You can't look away. Like, you just keep looking out of morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
And I want to see it to the end.
It's pretty enticing. I have seen many hilarious clips and images. The fact that this game's infamous launch day glitch is that your character can accidentally have their dick out. That's like, that is iconic. That is, of all the glitches, that's one good memeable, shareable one at least.
See, I had something similar to Matt where my trousers glitched out, but my penis disappeared. So I was like an action man, like a G.I. Joe, where I had no trousers.
Incredibly perverted game.
My big hair would disappear. I'll be bald.
Are we talking about the upstairs or downstairs? I mean, we can't tell with
Upstairs.
this one. Okay, you got to clarify with Cyberpunk here.
Yeah, it's.
I apologize if you are listening to this and you like the game. I'm so sorry. I hope you are having a better time than we are.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I would love to live in your world, man. I would love to live in your world.
I'm
sure.
still weirdly enjoying it.
Because I don't really care about bugs that much. What I care about is everything else.
I do. I hate it.
I mean,
90 on Metacritic.
During the ending scene, my character ran into a car wreck that was happening. Boom, boom. And they were like, ah! Like the NPCs inside the car wreck was like, ah.
Was this like not part of a drama scene?
Not part of it. All of a sudden, there's a car wreck in front of me, and both of the characters just run straight into it like they weren't there. And they're like, ah! It like totally breaks the mood.
How serious was the moment? What were they trying to establish?
Serious. It was supposed to be pretty serious. I don't know. It's cyberpunk seriousness, air quotes here.
If you're looking for an RPG this winter, get Yakuza 7 and then play Cyberpunk when it's patched next year.
We kind of sort of incorporated the news into that.
We did, which means we can rush into the other news of the week.
Yeah, I think this is going to be mostly me and you, Liam, on the Game Awards.
Well, we could talk about the general overview, but then I want to hear Matt's reaction to some of the award winners in the different categories. Obviously, we're gonna arrange the Dad Awards at some point soon. We can't forget.
Not a hard call to make. I feel like a lot of
I know.
Retroactively speaking, we might have made some very accurate. They weren't predictions. We were assessing after the fact last week on last week's episode when we were talking about these awards. But yeah, let's get awards first and announcements after, and then maybe like general impressions and concluding thoughts third. Starting from maybe least exciting to most exciting. Best audio design is gonna go to you'll never guess what, Matt.
Is it one of those like Last of Us, other type of games?
Oh, you got it! I can't. Great job! Great job! Accomplishment for gaming. The best audio design.
What? Really?
That they designed their audio better than all the other games.
Okay. I mean, sure. I mean, Last of Us. I liked it. I don't know.
Best action adventure game.
Oh, you're really going all over the place here.
Please don't say it's Last of Us again, please.
Oh, Last of Us! Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm
there are so many other games
surprised.
to be considering. Oh god.
Hey Matt, what do you think won best game direction?
Oh my god. I'm going to say something else. God of War.
Congratulations to The Last of Us, too.
Fuck you.
Oh no. That's insane.
What do you think won innovation in accessibility?
What the fuck? Last of Us? Really?
The Last of Us 2, congratulations. Actually, to be fair, they seem like they did a pretty damn good job of it. They actually made a video about it.
Yeah.
It has a very expansive difficulty mode.
So that's fair play.
Options menu.
Matt, what do you think won Game of the Year?
Oh, that's going to be Last of Us, right?
Oh my god, I'm so amazed.
Who would have thought it?
Question.
Flabbergasted.
Judge, would you like to tell him who won Best Performance?
Oh, that's Last of Us, right?
Best Performance goes to Darren... Laura Bailey is Abby from The Last of Us
Laura Bailey was... What? Holy shit, I did not know it was her. Oh, what?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Wow.
And the most important coveted prize of them all, Content Creator of the Year, presented by Adobe. I just want to say that we have been snubbed, guys.
Yeah, how did Jeff tuned into our stream that one time.
And we know he's been listening every
week. He follows me on Twitter. He keeps up. He knows.
That's how you win the Game Awards. You follow them on Twitter.
Yeah, we were robbed. It was somebody else who I've never heard of.
Who?
Valkyrie.
Who the hell is that?
I also just want to point out it was quite enjoyable hearing the announcer this year say the following words: "Best mobile game presented by LG Wing and Qualcomm Snapdragon." LG Wing and Qualcomm Snapdragon. I can't say it with the straight face. Qualcomm Snapdragon. Yeah, Valkyrie snubbed us from the Content Creator of the Year award.
How dare she?
Which is, par for the course for...
Matt, what do you think won best role-playing game? Yakuza 7 or Final Fantasy 7?
I swear to God.
They're 2 7s. 7v7.
I know Yakuza should have won.
Guess what didn't win?
Oh, no. Final Fantasy won Best RPG?
I mean, it was not really a toss-up this year between anything else, was it, really? What do you think won Best Score and Music?
Yeah, that I don't know.
Final Fantasy 7.
I guess nostalgia. More than anything, right? And not to say it was bad. It's not. If anything Japanese people could do is definitely music. I'll tell you that. Shit.
They sure can.
They sure can. I know that sounded like racist, but like,
Almost.
I mean, when you see the games, man, you're just like, but the music is always on point. It's always on point.
Best mobile game presented by Qualcomm Snapdragon is Among Us.
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I 100% understand it, but this then throws everything out of the water, right? Because that game was released 3 years ago. How does that qualify? Does it qualify just because it became popular this year?
I think that is literally it. Yeah.
It also won another award. It won another award that you don't have down here for some reason, but that's fair.
Oh, there was a very, very long list.
There was a long list, like best fighting game.
The whole esports like regional chapter chunk of it, I trimmed that off as well.
So to redeem the Game Awards, Hades won best indie, and it also won best action. So, credit where credit is due.
Yep.
It didn't win Game of the Year or best game direction, which it should have.
Best narrative, I can see why it went to Last of Us instead of Hades.
It's been interesting, and I don't want to bring this all up again, but it is interesting to see best game direction go to a studio highly criticized for overworking their staff. I wonder how they decide what best game direction is. Is it specifically the director?
Yeah, the end product probably.
Is it the game and how you...
The game. I think it's the game.
Is it the game director? Like, does Neil...
Is it an
award for Neil
game
Druckmann?
Of the year? Like, best narrative and best game of the year must be... Best game direction is like dead in the middle of those two, right?
Whoever picks these things, they probably don't go into the studios and see how, things are...
No, but they're definitely socially aware of the what's happening. I doubt they're not.
There's no way that can be what that award is for,
no,
those.
It's not.
And it would be interesting if it was, but there's no way.
No, I'm not saying
the
it
Grammys.
is.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, it's interesting because a conversation has sparked in the past couple of days based on, I think it was a Kotaku article, about how giving best game direction going to a studio that is directing a game is not doing very good at directing its people to make the game, which technically is what game direction is. So, I don't know. I feel like it's an interesting conversation to have in the future, considering how heated everything is about crunch these days, for good reason.
I think we also totally forgot to mention that they're going to be processing refunds for Cyberpunk. Speaking of the best game direction of 2021, when next year's Keeleys come out, that sure has
best ongoing this year was No Man's Sky. Best ongoing next year, Cyberpunk 2077. Boys,
yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
So we have a fairly modest handful of world premiere announcements.
World exclusive.
I don't know if Chromatic Agua Sonata Saga was shown at the show, but we did see Mario get stabbed like straight through.
We did
by Sephiroth.
We did get Mario. I'm loving this edgy Nintendo. They killed Luigi. They killed Luigi in the trailer for Simon Belmont, and now they're killing Mario.
How many times have we seen like blood in these trailers? That's not a smash. That was an impale.
That was a true impale.
Mario's not waking up after that one, kids.
I want to know who's going to honestly put their hands up and be like, I had Sephiroth down as the character. Pretty unexpected, or at least to me anyway.
Yeah. Well,
Cloud
was already in, so they've done...
Yeah, but there was that whole fiasco between Nintendo and Square Enix about the Cloud DLC, and all the songs didn't come over, only like 2 songs, because Square Enix wouldn't give them the rights to the new songs. So it did seem like they were not going to really work with Square Enix again. Obviously, of course, they did the Dragon Quest thing, so interesting. I think it's pretty dope. I can't wait to play Sephiroth, so I'm pretty happy. That long-ass fucking Masamune, whatever it's called, his sword, like, hell yeah.
Takes up half the screen whenever they want to have it in a shot. After the Westerners, though, like Minecraft Steve was the last big character that got announced, and that was like on another... I haven't seen the Smash community get that crazy since. Like Sephiroth was pretty crazy, but it wasn't to the level of the Minecraft Steve reveal.
No. Can we talk about the fact that while Sephiroth being announced for Smash is literally one of the like craziest things anybody could have ever expected, can we talk about the fact that Fortnite put Master Chief in it, but not only did that, then put Red versus Blue in Fortnite?
Oh yeah, I didn't have that one on my list, but now that you mention it, I do have incredibly hazy memories of that one moment.
I actually really was like, oh shit, no way. Everybody who plays Fortnite has no fucking idea what Red versus Blue is. They're about 10 years younger than what Red versus Blue is. Oh my god, that's so funny.
I had my attention firmly in other tabs when that part of the show was up.
I almost downloaded Fortnite to check it out.
No,
almost.
Okay.
They're playing Blood Gulch Capture the Flag with Red versus Blue characters. That is pretty funny.
I understand the temptation.
It was tempting.
But I would be surprised if you went through with that.
But then it was like, I had to reinstall Cyberpunk, so I gave up.
I may be playing Back for Blood at some point soon.
Thank God that was a Left 4 Dead thing, because that was the most generic trailer I've ever seen in my life.
That is Turtle Rock Studios basically resurrecting Left 4 Dead 3 after it got canceled at Valve. And yeah, it looks like Left 4 Dead. It's called Back for Blood. It's basically Left 4 Dead 3 by a different name. It's not going to have the Valve stamp of approval on it, but it is technically made by the same developers, Turtle Rock Studio. So that is going to be probably good fun. They're remaking / rebooting. It definitely doesn't look like a simple remaster or re-release. They're doing something with Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
A flashy teaser trailer showed a different kind of aesthetic than the series is usually shown of cold metal corridors are now looking like lively, colorful metal corridors. Joanna Dark is at the top of a skyscraper. It's not nighttime like last time. The Great Pyramids of Giza are in view. And I believe that the original N64 game took place in Chicago. So yeah, something's happening with Perfect Dark. Microsoft is bringing that way, way back from the dead. I believe that we did have a Perfect Dark re-release for the Xbox 360. It was a decent enough reason to purchase the Rare Collection for the Xbox One afterwards. But Perfect Dark last had a real game in like 2005
for the Xbox 360, right? Perfect Dark Zero.
Yeah, it was a launch title, and it wasn't super highly reviewed, but I do have fond memories of it.
It was a good game. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I had fun. I was quite amazed to see so many people be hyped about this. I didn't know Perfect Dark was... I knew it was like a well-remembered series, but I didn't think it was like this.
And it's also very of its time. I do find it hard to imagine Perfect Dark looking cool in 2010. And the trailer just kind of looks like
it kind of looks a bit Hitman-y.
Deus Ex Montreal. Yeah, it has that very Canadian video games look to it. Clean, shiny metal things,
bit Spec Ops.
Sturdy construction.
Yeah. Desert.
There aren't big angry soldiers or cool anime people, just like sleek modernist architecture. Anyways. If we have no further advanced thoughts on that, we could do some questions or some stories.
Wait, can I just quickly say, even though it was long, I didn't think the Game Awards was that bad. I think considering the whole mess of this year and the way they pulled it off with all the Zoom people in it and everything, there's no technical issues. I think Keely, apart from, and I'm calling you out, Keely, if you're listening, your shoes were fucking horrid. Those shoes, wow. Jesus Christ, you're a 45-year-old adult man. What are you doing?
Wow.
Apart from your shoes, you ran a tight ship. It was a pretty decent show. Well done, Keely.
Our show is ruined now.
I know. He's never going to. Maybe he'll give us content creator of the year next year just to repay us for having to look at his shoes.
But, Matt, I don't want to say you were missing anything, but I actually think this was the least cringy.
Wait, George, I'm going to have to stop you there. We're going to have... Oh, wait, I'm hearing in my ear. It's a Whooper Watch. We're on Whooper Watch. Pokemon Go. Go to your Pokemon Go phones right now. We're on Whooper Watch. There are Whoopers in your area. Whooper Watch. Yep. Whooper Watch is over. Report back in 2 hours' time, and we'll have another Whooper Watch.
What the fuck? Is that what happened?
That is still better than the places.
At least it's a video game.
This man and this man's video game awards show have gone in the past. I have a mental image of like a CGI Samuel L. Jackson baby promoting the Spike Video Game Awards in my head that my brain goes to.
Oh wait, George, we're having another Whooper Watch. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off there. Yeah. Yep, Whoopers in your area. Whooper Watch. Go to your Pokemon Go phones right now. That's. I repeat, a Whooper Watch.
It had a lot of rough moments to swallow, but I think that by now you can tell that the producers are well aware of when to try and hold back, given the nature of
honestly, in all honesty, I don't think it was that bad at all. I thought it was an enjoyable show. It's too long. 3 hours. 3 hours. It's longer than most of the indie games they put on the show. Like, it's so long.
Where's his shoes? Oh, God. As soon as I said that. The white and blue, right?
Okay. I'm going to look these up. I wasn't there for the whole 3 hours, and I had it in another tab.
Yeah, Matt, post it in the chat so I can definitely confirm that they are said shoes. He had a black suit on that wasn't that bad fitting, but my God, his shoes.
Oh, are they like blue and white?
Oh, and they're massive.
It's the pants that goes into the shoes.
And they're massive.
It looks a little bit weird. Yeah, they're massive.
Oh, they're so big. He's not a big man.
He's not a big man.
He's not a tall man, is what I meant to say. I didn't mean like to call him out. Keely, I love you. Don't unfollow me from Twitter, please. Then I won't be famous anymore.
He's unfollowing you right now.
Ah, shit. God damn it.
Oh my God. He looks like a serious adult until you get to his shoes. And then he's an adorable little baby boy. Oh, that is so cute. Look at his little sneakers.
Yo. Like,
going to the basketball game after school.
It is the video game equivalent of game devs turning up to award shows with a video game t-shirt and a blazer over the top.
It's probably comfortable, man. It's probably comfortable. I'm gonna go ahead and defend my man Keely.
Oh, you want him to follow you on Twitter, don't you?
Absolutely. So I could get verified. I want that check mark.
Oh my God! Jeez.
If you want to verify the ridiculous bullshit we just had a little giggle fit over, just check the description. I got a timestamp.
Georgia put it in there
for a YouTube video that Matt just shared.
While
with
you're
us.
at it, if you work at Twitter and listening to this, verify our new Twitter, Dad and Sons Pod. Find all the episodes on.
I swear, if Dad and Sons gets verified and I don't,
I know, right? That is my new mission. I'm going to make the Twitter for the podcast get verified before all three of us.
Oh, they don't verify the small guys, the little tiny guys.
Come on, like we have a goal. We want to get to 1,000 followers. I just made that up. But everybody should follow it, because then we can get verified, because then Jeff Keighley will notice us, and then we can tell him about his fucking shoes.
Your hopes are rising higher than those fucking shoes.
That is an impossible mountain to climb.
Oh my god.
Do you see the tops of those shoes? You can go there.
You can sit in those shoes. It's like a bathtub. They're so big.
Maybe Keely's not married, man. Maybe he walked out and thought he looked fine in the mirror.
No one told
Jeff
him.
Keighley can't be married. He doesn't have time for a wife. He's too busy into the games, man.
Yeah, I don't.
That's what we all say.
He has to be married. I don't see him being married, but he has to be married, though. He has to be. You're looking it up right now?
Maybe.
Do you think their wedding was the Jeff Keighley Award wedding?
Oh, John. Okay, so here are the top 7 Google autofills for Jeff Keighley. Jeff Keighley Cyberpunk, Jeff Keighley Twitter, Jeff Keighley Net Worth, Jeff Keighley Death Stranding, Jeff Keighley Dorito, Jeff Keighley Dorito Pope, Jeff Keighley wife. Everybody wanted to find out about his Dorito Death Stranding nonsense before his wife.
Does that make her the Dorito princess?
I don't know if he has a wife. It doesn't seem to confirm.
I see pictures.
There's pictures of him with lots of ladies.
Okay, now we're creeping. Now we're creeping on his life right now.
I'm sure he buys her lots of delicious Doritos and they love each other very much.
His Wikipedia doesn't say anything.
If you'd like to stop stalking Jeff Keighley on the internet, then send an email to...
Just Google image Jeff Keighley wife. You'll find it. And his shoes, maybe.
Not his shoes. No one's talking about his shoes. You come to the Dad and Sons podcast
I can't
to talk about
believe this.
The shoes. The style.
It's so hard to find a picture of him with anything like below the waist at all, let alone his shoes, that I can't believe you lasered in on those things, man. You're an auto-targeting drone over there.
This is what matters. Did you notice that he's rocking the Dad and Sons t-shirt right now?
Oh my god, yeah. Jeff, big fan.
What really matters is the Dad and Sons podcast and answering listener questions sent in to dadandsonspodcast@gmail.com.
Or from the Discord, where you can join.
We're going to be answering them in our Dad and Sons merchandise that you can buy for yourself.
I am literally wearing it like the shill I am.
Yeah.
He has 2 layers off. If you take off a layer of Liam's clothes, you'll just find more Dad and Sons clothes underneath.
Oh my god. That is a thing.
Doing the strip on camera right now, and there's just more Dad and Sons merchandise underneath every layer. He can't get to the bottom of it. It's never ending. Jamie P has a nice nostalgic question for us to start us off this week. Hi, Dad. What's the thing you're looking forward to doing the most once the pandemic is over?
Going out.
Oh, damn.
Traveling. Going to Japan.
Traveling.
Oh, yeah.
Going to a gig. Going to a concert or something. Just something.
Hugging people again.
Hugging, kissing
I want to have
people.
a big dinner.
Oh,
Wow.
Hey, boys.
Hey, Liam.
That hasn't changed.
Liam, you're so close to me right now.
Just not wearing masks. Imagine not wearing a mask outside without being embarrassed that you're some sort of pariah.
Yeah, like actually knowing how people look like under the mask now. Yeah. You know, you're always scared to go up to somebody like, she look cute, but the mask is on, so I don't know. She could just take it off and then...
I have had maybe like 3 people over in my house all year.
And they've never left. They're all tied up in your basement.
Oh no!
Shut up! I was just gonna talk about how the lonely and empty it feels, and I can't wait to have a big dinner with video games and food that has nothing to do with that thing.
You should have murdered them then, George.
If anyone's going over George's house for food, be very, very careful. You see him coughing? You see him coughing?
No, I'm not. I'm not coughing from the murder gas.
Mm-hmm.
I had someone over for Thanksgiving. I had someone over a couple weeks afterwards, and I just felt my soul get better.
Definitely.
I felt my mood get better. I felt like healthier and more energetic for the next few days. I can't believe how much of the rest of your health is like tied to that stuff.
Yep.
People are great. Like, don't let anybody tell you any different. Honestly, you might think you're an introvert, and you might be, but man, it's nice to have people around sometimes.
You just haven't found the right people.
Yeah.
You just got to get out there.
And then there was a pandemic.
Yeah. I need it. I need it, man. I need to go back to
traveling definitely to like a different country. I feel like that would be the best.
Yeah, for sure.
Good question. Let us know what you would want to do.
Both traveling and like having people over just feel like very gratifying.
A
human
party.
activities.
Imagine a party.
Mm-hmm.
That's something a robot can't do. Is enjoy the new thrill of what you get when traveling, of being somewhere different than you're used to. That diversity spicing up your life.
That would be so good.
Everyone's gonna be out. I love it. Everyone's gonna be free. Concerts are gonna be open again. Intimate concerts.
Are intimate concerts.
Yeah, like I like
you.
those small concerts, those small venues. You know.
Oh, like a romantic jazz club or something.
No, there's sometimes you could get like these tickets to like just like a band, but they're smaller concerts, so like it's a more intimate setting compared to just being like in this big, huge stadium. I'm never a fan of those, but yeah, man.
But even then, imagine being in a place like that and seeing like 30,000 people.
Yeah, like that doesn't exist anymore. That doesn't even exist.
I thought I was like done with concerts until now, and now I'm like, I feel like I would just be able to get out a lot of pent up frustration from my system by going to one really satisfying heavy metal Gwar show after all this.
That would be pretty dope. Just release all the anger with every sweaty people around you.
Getting all sweaty together.
It's just expected that everyone's touching and shouting and slamming into each other. I mean, that is all off limits now. That's a taboo you're not allowed to do behind closed doors, much less in concerts.
Like just seeing people without masks on in like public places like the supermarket or something. That would be weird. Be really strange. There's almost like an anonymity to it, kind of. Everybody wearing masks. Like people, you maybe pay less attention to people, I think, now. Who knows?
I think I got used to it pretty darn fast, and I wonder if it's because I'm kind of face blind by default, if you guys remember.
Do you know who we are?
I learned that it was a while ago when I told that story. Well, I might be a little face blind.
But do you remember who you were talking to?
Yes. The listeners might not know. Now they know. That's all that was required. Anyways. Jonah W wants to know about your weird accent, Liam. My mother, who is a linguist, overheard me listening to your podcast and was apparently struck by Liam's accent. According to her, your vowels are very British, but your intonation sounds almost American. My question for Liam is, have you noticed any changes in the way you speak or act, being both an international and multilingual?
I don't even realize that Liam is like anything other than American. Like I've gotten so used to his voice that it's just like it just sounds like Liam. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I get this quite a lot, especially from people back home, and it's being in Japan. Having taught English, but also having done podcasting for a long time now, where you have to enunciate and whatnot and speak properly on the microphone.
Whoa,
it definitely has seeped in And because I have to speak very clearly, and people might laugh because I obviously don't. I stutter sometimes and I say like a lot. Please ignore that last comment because otherwise you'll hear it forever now. Being in Japan, I need to clearly say things because I'm talking to people who maybe don't have the best grasp of English, right? So imagine if you're saying just very simple, plain sentences, you learn to say it in a very neutral accent. And yes, most of my friends are American. I podcast with these two every week. Pronunciation of some words is seeped in, and I actually don't remember how I pronounce things prior to moving to Japan. So now I just say what I hear. And I do get this a lot. My girlfriend laughs at me all the time because I'm supposed to be British like, and I probably talk like this most of the time beforehand, but fuck, I don't even talk like that anymore. No.
That's so different.
No, I definitely talked with more slang when I was in the UK. And I definitely didn't do it with a softer voice like this. It was probably a bit more harsh, and it was a bit like this. It was a bit more British.
Really? Holy shit.
Probably. I grew up in Wales.
Oh my God. I can't even.
I grew up in Wales, but I never really had the Welsh accent. So it's a bit difficult now because I've gone to Japan and everything's very different. God. And this is probably what's my...
You're a different person. I don't even know you anymore.
This is what everybody sounds like near where they live with me in Wales. They sound very like this and they have a very singy-songy voice. But yeah, no, I sound like this now. And yeah, Jonah, your mother is probably right because I do have
Nino Kuni
British. I like A-E-U-E-O. I still don't say like aluminium. Ugh. I say tomato and not tomato. Potato, tomato.
Football and not soccer.
Yeah, because that's the thing is even saying soccer. I have to say it in an American accent because there's no British way to say it because British people don't say it. So when I hear it, I say it as soccer, and like it's just like it's like a word that repulses me.
It's gonna be super interesting to see what happens to accents,
and it's so funny because you guys won't even notice, but stuff like trash, like I never say trash in my life until I moved to Japan. We don't say trash. We say rubbish. We don't say garbage either.
That's fine.
But it's so weird
Sounds the same
because
to
if
me.
I spoke to my mum now, I still say mum, which is very English.
I say mum.
Oh, I like mum.
You say mom. You say mom though,
mum,
right? M-O-M.
Mum. M-U-M.
You say mum. Ah, how British
I don't know
you?
where I think it was because I watched a lot of Doctor Who and I always liked the way he said it.
Oh, hello, mum.
Yeah.
Hello there, mother.
Yeah. Damn.
I love mum. It's so cute. It's such a cute word.
So yeah, if I spoke to my mum and I said, "Oh, I'm just taking out the trash," she'd be like, "Who the fuck are you?"
And all of a sudden, that turns mom into grand.
It's definitely just living in Japan. I think anybody who's lived in countries different to their own, you grow up with all the colloquialisms and you grow up with the slang, and then as soon as you move somewhere, especially if you move to a country like Japan, and when you talk English to people, not necessarily my partner, but people in general, you have to speak clearly and you have to speak slower, and then you learn to pronunciate things correctly, or you learn to pronunciate them wrong, but you can't get rid of it because it's just the way you say it.
Oh, I got so much shit for that.
Yeah, you end up like this. I still don't think I'm a very clear speaker, but I seem to be doing okay.
I'll never be able to learn how to properly pronounce nuclear. Nuclear. It's
nuclear. Nuclear. It's like do you remember the whole Labo laughter?
I can't. I don't have points.
Labo.
I did not dump points into that character creator stat.
Your cyberpunk skill tree is failing.
What would you call that? Oral dexterity?
I remember when the first time I went back to Wales after living in Japan for 3 years. I went back to Wales and I was riding a train and somebody was talking to me and they were like, "Oh, Liam, I haven't seen you since school." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's good to see you. I haven't probably seen them in 10 years or so." They were like,
mm-hmm.
Do you live in America? And I was like, I don't sound American at all. American people definitely don't think I sound American. That's for sure.
No, we don't. We
exactly.
Really don't. That's so funny.
And then I started speaking Welsh to them. I was like, I'm just talking Welsh. And then they're like, oh my God, what the hell happened to you? Like, I've been to war and returned after years.
I also think it's funny how a lot of foreign accents like no longer sound alien to me at this point. I've heard them so much through internet friends and Discord. Like all the time when I'm on Discord, it's with someone in some kind of thick something else.
I'm just going to throw it out there. Again, the Dance on Discord, we have such a wide oh my God, I can't even speak English.
Variety.
A wide variety
Verite.
of people from all over the place, especially Europe. And we have German accents, Danish accents, we have French accents. We have so many different accents. We have Polish. And I definitely now just recognize the person's voice, not necessarily their accent. And it doesn't sound like a different country. It just sounds like that person talks English to me in a certain specific way. Thankfully, they all speak English because their cultures are way smarter than British and American people who don't learn any other language because we're lazy.
We are.
But it is great, to hear people from other countries talk, and it doesn't sound like I'm listening to somebody in a different accent speak English. It just sounds like somebody I know who is speaking English back to me. And I don't really recognize the accent any longer. That 2020 multiculturalism, yo. I didn't even say that correctly.
Jordan T wants to talk about combat encounters that are especially memorable because of especially good camera visual aesthetic work. Chrono Trigger has an artful approach to staging its combat encounters. The battles are not random encounters, and they don't send the player to a nebulous battle zone when initiated. Instead, fights take place in the exact location that the player is exploring. When an encounter is initiated, the camera moves to frame that specific part of the map, drawing attention to a mountain peak or endless staircases or a dramatically backlit castle and so on. Because of this framing, many of the moment-to-moment combat encounters have stuck in my brain as much as the boss battles do. And I think that's remarkable for an almost 30-year-old game that Chrono Trigger is. What other games do you folks think accomplish something similar? Are there games that impacted you during gameplay or during cutscenes or QuickTime events, in large part due to how things are staged? Due to their staging. So this makes me think of Dark Souls, Shadow of the Colossus, camera work stuff. Games that have dramatic soft lock angles. Like I would definitely say that Dark Souls has a lot of powerful visuals to me of how enemies will be very particularly placed next to a ledge overlooking a huge vista, like the first.
You remember that spot on the map very clearly.
And Orlando.
Yeah.
And Orlando has like some of the most beautiful combat encounter placements in the whole video games.
I think From is just amazing at it. Like when I think back to the bosses of Sekiro, right? Like, fighting what's his name on top of the shrine, temple, tower at the top, lightning dude.
The one that no one can beat.
No, he's like the mid of the game, where once you get over that point, the game gets harder, but you've qualified, you've passed the test, and you can fight the rest of the game. The Ashina dude.
The chin check. Yeah.
Again.
It's like make sure you're awake, make sure you're not falling asleep.
Genshiro. See? Yeah, there we go. Genshiro. Ashina Genshiro. Yeah, that fight on top of that is and the whole like 360 nature of the like pagoda you're fighting in means you can see all around the map of like Sekiro from that top area. You can see out of the other 4 points. That is really good. I think that's a well staged fight, let's say.
Yeah, there's something about those types of fights that like give you something that a lot of easier games don't, where you actually feel like you have beaten the boss, like something that was like you overcame the obstacle. Because it's actually freaking hard to defeat that damn boss.
How many games nowadays really rely on great placement of enemies? Because your average action world open game is less about staging individual encounters so much as it's making sure that all the systems are versatile enough to adapt to a lot of different situations and play styles. I want to say Half-Life Alyx has a lot of very, very deliberate sightlines. The moment where you're interacting with the Vortigaunt, I think, is pretty burnt into my brain. Well, the one who can see the future and gives you a fun little joke about sustenance on your way out.
Oh, yeah.
You know how you have to kind of turn your head to do a perspective puzzle to get into his room?
Yeah.
That was a super cool shot. And I like sightline gag, how it forces you to look in a certain direction.
I'm trying to...
Half-Life Alyx. I've completely forgotten about that game.
The Game Awards didn't. It won Best VR Game, if you're surprised.
It's the VR AR. It's both of them.
Yeah. I mean, it was okay.
That almost feels like the last big hurrah of like hyper hand detailed, meticulously staged encounter type design versus the open world, versatile. The same encounter can happen a million different ways depending on where it's splashed on the map design.
I feel like Bayonetta had a lot of those sequences. Yeah. Vanquish 2, like platforms that would be falling through the sky and you'd have to be jumping between rocks and then fighting enemies on these huge boulders that are like falling and crashing to the ground.
The clock towers in the Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising games are unforgettable.
Yes, yeah, exactly. What's the game called by Capcom as well? Azura's Wrath. When you fight on the moon, when you fight Ryu on the moon.
Whoa!
If nobody's seen it, it was DLC for it. You fight Ryu from Street Fighter 4 on the moon. It is
insane.
That's a hell of a set piece.
It is pretty fucking epic.
Oh, I think I watched videos of this. I never played the game.
Yeah. It's so good. Yeah. And there's a moment when there's like a huge Buddha that's about to like crush you under the earth, and then he's like holding it up, and you're like, oh, that's so bad. That game did not get its just cause.
You know, Metroidvanias have to pay a whole lot of attention to very particular staging and placement.
Yeah.
And I remember Vertical Shaft Rooms and Hollow Knight seemed to have a lot going on in terms of where enemies would be placed to make sure that you would not want to like land on top of them, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Is that staging or is that just remembering the levels?
Good design, the way they blended in.
It's one of those things where you're like, oh, is it good design or is just like a good game, and then you play a game that doesn't do it, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, missing something. The soul.
It's missing
that
something.
we were talking about. The soul.
You're like, oh.
The thing that Witcher has that
they weren't conscious
Cyberpunk
of this, were they? Who played this game? Did anyone play Cyberpunk, or did they just made it and tossed it out? I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
It has to have been made. It was in development for most of a decade.
You played? Yeah. Probably.
Well,
we're all exhausted.
I'm awake for the first time in like 10 episodes.
Oh man, if anybody didn't know, Matt was so looking forward to this episode.
I went to sleep at 8 o'clock yesterday like a grown man.
A grown man who has big blue shoes.
Yeah.
Those are strangely adorable.
Oh man!
Oh Jeff,
he was rocking them Nikes, man. Leave the man alone, man. He was comfortable on stage. His tight pants.
So we're bringing things back to Cyberpunk a little bit.
Oh really?
Because Cyberpunk is now being included with Stadia Premier Edition.
Ah yeah.
Which is a $100 piece of hardware. Johan N says, ever since starting uni, my game time has almost completely vanished. I find it really hard to motivate myself to game when there is so much else stuff to do, both interesting and stressful. The last time I could get into a game was Animal Crossing: New Horizon, and that was only for a month or two, but I do miss gaming and somewhat keep up with the online discourse. Oh my dear. Such a nasty hole to be going down. So to my question, do you think something like Stadia could be a good way to get into gaming again? I'm really hyped for Cyberpunk, which seems to work on Stadia, and I don't want to spend money on a console or PC I'm not going to use that much.
Buy an Xbox Series X and use the quick resume functionality, and you'll have a great time.
Oh my god, I knew that was going to be
a guy on Twitter when I was talking about Cyberpunk, told me that he's been playing on Stadia, and then he hasn't come across like any issues.
So that's the thing. That's what a lot of people are saying, that the winner here really is Stadia, because every other platform has problems, whereas Stadia is running completely on servers at 4K, 60 frames if you've got good enough internet. So
damn, son.
Well, it's not gonna look like that.
I mean, it depends on your internet, supposedly.
You got fiber.
It supposedly depends on your internet, but your 4K images is always going to be not necessarily downsampled, but there's going to be some image compression going on that will blur pixels out to the point where you might as well be playing at lower resolution.
I think as long as it's not laggy. Like I feel like yeah, sure, like a game has to look good.
Yeah.
But you don't have to play in 4K, right? Like you can play on a lower res, right?
Yeah.
So like,
but you just want that 60 frames smooth as hell.
Yeah, if it plays good and it's not laggy, switch your resolution and you're fine to go. I think that that's all people want, really, is to be able to pull out their, whatever computer they have. If they're only upgrading to the sole purpose of gaming, Stadia is a better and cheaper option to pay every month instead. But yeah.
But I totally would not look at it as a permanent thing, like because your controls are also going to feel money.
Yeah, but we're talking to somebody who's not playing games that much, right? We're giving advice to somebody who's looking for a cheap option to play games quickly and just satisfy their need. If you've got a fast internet and a controller and you can just pick up and play, I don't think it's the worst option in the world, because the barrier to entry is so cheap.
Yeah. Do a free trial if you can. If not, then because definitely check if it actually works. Because I haven't tried it at all. I don't know how muddy the controllers feel. I don't know how the lag is, because that's number one for me. It's like it has to feel good.
It changes by the month, but
oh really?
They used to do a 2.
Oh, you mean the price? Okay.
Was it 2 months or 3 months for free trial? But I don't think that the free trial you can sign up for right now is going to be the version that includes Cyberpunk.
Oh, it's only $10 a month. Like, you could squeeze $10, right? Just don't go to McDonald's that day.
I don't know, but on Stadia you have to buy the games full, right? It's not really like I'm just gonna throw out there again. I think the best value for money is an Xbox Series S, not an X, S with Game Pass.
Premier Edition. You need Stadia Premier Edition.
Oh.
If it's gonna include Cyberpunk. Otherwise you do have to buy Cyberpunk.
Oh.
I think you would only want to do that like free trial or cancel your subscription a month after. Be strategic about it.
Oh, okay, so Premier Edition is $100.
It's $100.
$100, guys.
Do you get a controller with that?
Mm-hmm. I think controller and that little clip thing for the back of your TV.
Been highly reviewed.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get Cyberpunk and a controller and the thing, I mean, as long as it works, the point is it's your internet, isn't it? It's like, it's not a question really about how you play.
Yeah, look at some reviews, not just the big guys, but some of the smaller guys too. Like get a good understanding, because $100 is a big. That's not $10. That's a big thing. So yeah, you never know.
Is Johan In's life significantly gonna improve from playing? Maybe he should spend that $100 on health insurance or the rent.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Don't spend $100 on Stadia.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Don't spend it on Stadia unless you're absolutely sure. Like, that's your thing.
It sounds like you already have a Switch, Johan. Just play your Switch, dude. Hades is on there.
Yeah, that actually is probably... You don't need to play Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that's like another way of thinking about it. Like, you don't really need to play that game.
I mean, have you listened to Matt and me today? I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, we kind of railed into it. We were pretty harsh.
They got the Outer Worlds and Minecraft on it. Just that'll scratch the itch.
They got the Outer Worlds on Switch?
Somehow they got the Outer Worlds on Switch.
That's insane. Okay. The Switch is like...
They did do that. And Doom Eternal.
I have no idea.
Well, I'm wondering if it's one of those play through the cloud finagling solutions like the Hitman and RE games.
Doom Eternal is a full-on port to the console.
I have no idea how how that works. I never looked up footage. I'm gonna have to do that now while you go to the next question. That's just ridiculous.
Oh no, that is
the next
question.
Wow, it looks not bad. It looks not bad.
I don't trust it.
It looks like it runs good too. It runs like it looks like a Play-Doh. It looks like Play-Doh.
What game are you talking about?
Doom.
Oh yeah, that one's fine.
Yeah, it runs.
I thought you were talking about the Hitman or RE stuff for a second.
Oh no. RE is known to be cloud. Doom Eternal is a port.
But man, does it look pretty good? How did they do this? Maybe because I have the screen so small. That's probably what it is. Oh, okay. It's a little low res. Okay. It still looks good though. Anyways, sorry, I was just like, how like they make this run on the Switch, and like they couldn't make Cyberpunk run on my PC properly. All right. Anyways.
It just needs the week 1 patch. These things always happen on launch. It should be expected at this point.
That game is not good, even without the bugs. It's not the problem. I would have taken a good game with bugs. A good game with bugs, I would have totally been fine with. I've been totally fine with it. I don't care about the bugs that much. I care about the game. Maybe a couple T-poses, a little bit too much. a little too much, but other than that,
there's quite a fair bit of T-posing for sure.
A lot of T-posing going on.
Does it count as an X pose if your dick's hanging out when you do it?
No, that's just a really long Y pose.
Yeah. Very short Y pose. A little tiny.
Oh, come on.
It'd be like
no.
It'd be like an X pose with a little V. It'd be like almost like an M.
One of the characters like, what is that? That's just little V.
I'll keep this in mind the next time I'm at the football game and we have to do the YMCA in the crowd.
It's his little Vincent.
Little V. It's Vincent. It's Valerie for
Oh really?
For the yeah.
They just say that in one random mission. They're like, "Hey Vincent." I'm like, I've not heard that name before. Is that his name? Okay, whatever. For sure. That'll do it.
Like, no, people call me V.
Me V.
Okay.
Only my best friends call me Vincent. I'm so stoic.
One last question for you guys before we head out. Mm-hmm. Who is the most annoying V of the past 2 years in video games? V from DMC or V from Cyberpunk?
V from Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
Guy's a loser.
V was okay.
You don't like his Adam Driver nose?
I hate his Adam Driver nose. I hate him. I hate his stupid animals. I hate the way he controls. I hate the fact that he's disguising a really cool character.
Oh God, you're so on it. Yeah, there's so many places they could have gone with angry emo boy with the cane,
and they didn't. So
you could just whack things with the cane. Cool spring-loaded gadgets could shoot out of the cane.
And then you play Dante, and then everything is forgiven.
Yeah, everything's forgiven, and you're like, "Damn, this is what I could have been doing this whole time."
I know, right?
God,
I could have just been.
Damn it.
I just been doing the same thing. They like tried to switch it up for everyone. Like, oh yeah, we have dynamic gameplay and everything. No, I just want to play Dante the whole time.
Can we just go back to that? Can we just go back to that?
Can we just go back to just repetitive gameplay, please?
If you had to bring one V to a desert island forever, which V would it be?
The female V.
Wait. You're going to switch yours to female V? Why?
I don't want to, because my male V is probably going to hate me. Whereas the female V and me, we might be able to get along.
What? They're the same person.
And then intimate in a cyberpunk style sex scene on the islands before we inevitably go crazy.
Oh my God.
How are you going to make your dark synthesized music tracks if you don't have an electronic Casio
like
keyboard
this.
on the
Oh my god, Cyberpunk was so shit. It was so shit.